sun.
No. Yeah, this will work without the sun. So why do you think all these people are here today? What are they doing?
I think people are here today protesting the Bilderberg meeting to call attention to it. There is a very specific objective, and this, as much as it looks like a protest, is just as much an independent media summit. And that's so exciting to see that there are about 20 cameras here. At least at a couple hours ago, when it was a little busier, there were at least 20 cameras live streaming, and probably 40 cameras just out taking pictures, taking video, recording this, bringing that attention to what's happening here. And the fact that the independent media is causing such a change in the national dialogue, in the way that we are talking about Bilderberg, the way that we were talking about the superclass, I think it's having an incredible effect. You know, in 1954, the first meeting, they didn't have a website. Now they got a website. Now, you know, there's at least a token libertarian in there, although we know that the real important conversations don't happen with the whole group. They happen in the hallways and in the hotel rooms, when they, you know, after they've scanned for listening devices, and that's still going to happen, and that's still happening. But what we're seeing here is an evolution of society's relationship to the superclass, and just bringing attention to that is a way of starting to make that change. But to see that change is already having an impact right here, it's very exciting.
Well, Daniel thinks, he doesn't express it this way, that they're actually scared or that he think they got to go over the top and do something more. But he says that they're willing to go further and reduce what the LaRouche people, Lyndon LaRouche calls energy flux density, you know, which amounts to, do we have cell phones, do we have internet, can you stream that thing?
I don't stream, but I can from my phone if I have to.
And how much does gasoline cost? Do we even have cars?
Pay
or we
the
ride a
inflation
bicycle?
tax at
you
the
know,
pump.
and is the water? How's the water? Are we dying from the water? You know, and so on. So they're even willing to go farther, just not to make money, but to do more to keep the oligarchy in place.
Right, power and exploitation. Well, even on that count, you know, like I said, those conversations are still happening here, regardless of what we do outside, regardless of, you know, what website they put up. And if it doesn't happen here, it's going to happen at some meeting that we really don't know about. It's going to happen in real secrecy. As long as there is a superclass, they will have the ability to communicate and collude and conspire in secret. But the other thing that this is changing, that the independent media here is already having an incredible impact on, is those conversations. And one of the things I would surmise is a topic of conversation here for all the beneficiaries of the military-industrial complex is, you know, how do we come up with the next excuse for more war? How do we come up with the next excuse for more government spending, for more military spending, whatever the case may be. And in the case of war, myths.
M-Y-T-H.
Yes. How many myths? What can we create? What fictions can we get the people to accept? And already, this skepticism that you're seeing here has fundamentally altered their conversations in there. Like, for example, there's a lot of saber-rattling with the war in Iran, you know, and I've gone on record and made the prediction that we're not going to have a war in Iran, and it's almost a diversion, but what we're going to see is a more efficient excuse for them to spend money through the military and control people and have the excuse for more domination is a long-term humanitarian war in Syria. And the fact that they are going to do that instead of just keep this massive wave of bullshit propaganda on Iran coming is because the people are more skeptical. The reason they're more skeptical is because they have better access to information. They have internet, they have independent media. And that is not just changing the broader conversation, it's changing the conversation in terms of what they know they can and cannot get away with. And that's also very exciting. Not to see, but at least to, you know, be able to, if only, throw the sheet of reason over the invisible elephant and see the outline of it, and see in that sense how we know the superclass is changing, how its powers are being limited by the information that is being shared, that is being streamed from right here at Occupy Bilderberg 2012.
Yeah, there are even myths about who we are, and I'm happy to be here to get out here and to see who we are, because we're not the know-nothings that I thought we might be when I got this job interviewing people. These people know a lot, and we're putting it together too, and we're civilized. And the cops don't have anything to bite on, even if they wanted to, and I think they just want to do their jobs in peace, and they can. And the Oath Keeper guy there, he says they need to keep their oath to the Constitution and so on. And we got ways to go that we didn't used to have, you know. It used to be go get your gun, right? Well, now We don't have to
go
do
get
that.
the camera.
Yeah, just
Yeah, no, it's great to see that humanity is evolving in that sense as well, and that the exploitation of the superclass has been a product of two things really: our technological ability to communicate across wide areas, geographic areas, and create systems of power based on mass exploitation concentrated in the hands of a few and far-off capital, but also the technology of productivity that's created this excess capital and wealth that people can skim off the top, so to speak, to feed the superclass, to keep the scam of government going. So but all that's changing. All that's changing. All that's going away because the internet makes just by reducing the communications cost all the way to zero. You know, we are all empowered to do what they do. We are all empowered to have access to that all of that information, all of that knowledge, and instead of using it for exploitation, use it for accountability and to wake people up. But I see this as part of the course of human evolution. What is exciting to me is to see that while there are a lot of people here who are still statists of some kind or another that still say, well, we need government for this or we need government for that, or if we can just get back to the Constitution, it's like, well, what's the track record of the Constitution? I mean, the Constitution created the Leviathan that's responsible for all the wealth and power that's in there. You know, and just to be clear, like even someone like Peter Thiel.
our revolution was kind of either incomplete or not all there.
Well, I would say incomplete. The first American Revolution was a major step forward for advancing human liberty, but it didn't really institutionalize the philosophical conclusions of the philosophy of liberty, which is that government as a concept is immoral. That the idea of needing leaders, even if they're elected by a majority, is no different from needing rulers in a monarchy. And we've seen the result. But like even a guy like Peter Thiel, who is a businessman who's made his money by serving people in the free market, you know, he wouldn't be as wealthy if it wasn't for corporatism, keeping out competition, for all of the things that made him as successful as he was. You know, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be maybe one of the richest men in the world, but he wouldn't be nearly as rich compared to the average American. And all of those powers exist because of government, not despite government, not because we've got government screwed up, no, because of the nature of government as a monopoly on the initiation of force, as a monopoly on violence. It always serves as a tool for exploitation. If you can't convince people to go along with something, charity, purchasing something, you know, business agreements, then you have government and you step in with the gun and say, well, we're going to force people to go along with a certain agenda. And the only reason you ever have to do that is because you can't convince people that your ideas are worth going along with voluntarily. So it is in the fundamental nature of government that it is a system of exploitation, that is someone taking advantage of the fact that people need leaders. So I'm going to stand up and be the leader and be a power broker and serve corporate masters, serve the superclass. And so people are starting to wake up to that, but just even moving the conversation in that direction is something that I'm happy to be a part of here.
That's great. Thanks
Cool.
a lot. I'll let
My
you.
pleasure.
Yeah, my name's Bob.